The most important words that you can ever share with your audience are the words that you craft and create and nurture and then share with your audience. Okay, what I'm talking about is this: it's intentional. It's not flying by the seat of your pants and hoping that something that you say somewhere along the way makes a difference in the life of someone else. All right, so I'm sad today because my husband's father has passed away. And there are a lot of conversations that have happened over the last 24 hours about the kind of man he was, and it's given me pause to think about legacy. Now, over the last couple of months, I've been thinking about the legacy that we leave behind. And is it something that's just kind of happening, or is it something that we're doing on purpose? Now, I want to share with you this picture. For those of you that are watching the video, this is a picture of Scott. It says celebrating the life of Scott Crookston, the piano man, 1953 to 2023. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because this has been on my bathroom vanity for the last several months since Scott passed away. And it says the piano man on this little picture that was created and passed out at his funeral. And the reason it says the piano man is because he played the piano. And that's how everybody wanted to remember him. Now, what's odd about this is it didn't say that Scott was a family man. Scott had 10 children that he and his wife gave birth to and raised, and they lived in their house, and he was their dad, right? This says the piano man, not the family man. Isn't that interesting? What's also interesting, and the reason that I've kept this picture on my bathroom vanity, is I look at it every day and I wonder what kind of man was Scott. If I was to create this picture, what I would have said was Scott, the mystery man. I don't know who Scott is. Scott was my uncle. He's my mother's younger brother. And my mother is the second oldest of 16 kids. When Scott passed away, there were exactly 3 of his living siblings that showed up for his funeral. There are 13 that are still alive. 3 of them showed up to his funeral, my mother being one of them. And as I listened to his eulogy that was given by one of the younger brothers, actually, not even the brother that was supposed to give the eulogy, okay? The brother that was supposed to give the eulogy, I'm going to give him kudos because he wrote the eulogy. He was supposed to give the eulogy, and then he had surgery and he was unable to travel. So he handed his written eulogy to another brother who flew into town moments before the funeral, didn't visit with the family, flew in, sat down at the funeral, got up, read the eulogy, and then left halfway through the funeral to catch a flight back home. Now, I know this to be true because I left the funeral early as well because I gave him a ride back to the airport. Okay. Then I went back to the funeral. But what I thought was really odd, if you gave a eulogy at your own brother's funeral, don't you think you'd add in your own 2 cents? Don't you think you'd add in your own words? This is the kind of person that Scott was. He didn't. He just read a written eulogy by another brother. And I found that really odd. I also found it really odd that out of 13 living siblings, only 3 of them showed up to pay their final respects. What does that say about the piano man? Now, I don't know who Scott is. I'm not knocking Scott. I really don't know Scott. He was my uncle, and I met him many times, but there was nothing outstanding about him. There was nothing that made me say, oh, wow, he's the coolest man ever. I want to be like that when I grow up. There was nothing really that stood out. And what's interesting about Scott is I listened to all of the stories, because if you're at a funeral and you listen to all of the stories that people share as they're sitting around the tables of food or standing around flowers or in the church or outside the church, there are always stories about funny situations and things that happened. And oh, I remember the time when. And I kept listening for stories about Scott. Who was Scott and what do people remember? And what kept coming back over and over and over again is he really loved music and he was good at telling bad dad jokes. That's it. That's the legacy he left behind. It's true he left 10 children behind and 13 living siblings. But what's also true is the legacy he left was a mixed message. And I look at this every single day as I'm getting dressed. And I say to myself, Scott was the piano man. And what legacy did he leave? The reason I bring this up to you today is because as we're recovering from burnout mode, we have a very clear assignment for today. Not can you write your obituary, because I've heard this as the assignment in the past from other people. And, it's kind of cool. Like, how do you want to be remembered? Write your obituary. What if you wrote your eulogy instead? A eulogy is a little bit longer than an obituary. The obituary is about a paragraph long. The eulogy is about 5 to 8 minutes. And this really digs into who were you? What did you represent? What did you believe? How did you show that in the world around you? What did other people think of you? How are you perceived by friends and family? Is there anything that we don't know about you that stood out? If you were to write your own eulogy, and this is your assignment for today, this is going to take you a little bit of time today, but I want you to really think about this. If you wrote your eulogy, what would you want people to say about you? And the reason I ask this question is because that is the message you're going to share. The most important message that you can share with your audience is your eulogy. And I don't mean it in terms of, hey, here's Angela Brown, and this is the kind of person that she was, and here's what she did through the course of her life, and all these things. I don't mean it in terms of that. I mean, once you know, and once you're crystal clear about what it is and what you do, I want you to reformat your eulogy, and I want you to put it on your About Us section of your website. It's one of the most viewed pages on anyone's website. People are going to say, who is this person? Why should I listen to this person? What value does this person bring to me? And if you just have a little picture of you and your dog and like, hey, I love eating at restaurants and I love to travel and this is my dog, that doesn't help anyone. The most important message you can share is your eulogy. Who are you and what did you believe and what did you stand for and how did you prove that in the world? What is the legacy that you're leaving intentionally? Here's the reason why. If this is on your about page, as people come to your website, as people look at your about page, excuse me, they're going to say, is this the person I want to follow? And they're going to start looking for those things in your content. Is this the kind of person that you are? Do you have a charity where you give scholarships of your information away every single year to people that can't afford to go through your courses and pay for your programs? Do you have a program where you are helping other people by giving away free content in terms of a download or a freebie? Or do you give advice, or how do you help? What is that outreach that you have? What is the mark that you want to leave on the world, and how do you want to be remembered? People are going to start looking for that in all of your content. And here's what's really interesting. If it's there, if it's spelled out, if they start seeing the clues and they start seeing you living up to those expectations that you have created for yourself, they're going to start sharing that message externally with their friends and their followers. Okay. So you get to craft the message. You get to share who you are and what you left behind. I don't want you to wake up one day. Well, you wouldn't be waking up if you die, but have your family, your 10 children, print a note like this that they give away to people at your funeral. Like, this is my dad. I want you to remember my dad. He was a piano man. Yeah, he was a piano man. He was also your dad. He was a dad of 10 kids. Okay, that's huge. And that's not what this little card says. I don't know what kind of a dad he was. Maybe he wasn't a very good dad. I don't know. I do know that he loved the piano and he was a great musician. Okay. I do know that. And I know he told a lot of bad dad jokes. That's also what I know. I also know 13 of his living siblings, out of 13, only 10 of them chose not to come to his funeral. They chose not to come. Okay. They might have had health reasons or who knows what. I don't know. But 10 out of 13, those are not very good odds. Okay. So what legacy are you leaving? And that goes on your about page of your website. The most important message you can share with your audience is one that is carefully crafted. I want you to have a focus, because burnout comes from not having a focus and drifting aimlessly for likes and shares and followers and fans, and they don't know what they're looking for either. But if you have a really clear, concise message, it's going to be easier to amass everything that you want to create as a content creator. All right, that's my message for today. All right, let's do a quick check-in and see how we're doing. My first situation for today is my sleep. All right, so I did not sleep very much at all. I got 3 hours and 59 minutes of sleep. It was a crazy night. I woke up in the morning and I was like, "No, this can't be true. Why did I let myself stay up so late?" So there are 3 nights this week that I did not get very much sleep, and it's starting to show residual effects in my attitude during the day. So I know better, okay? I'm 16 days into burnout recovery and I know better. So I'm asking my body to do radically different things, and I need to follow through on the radically different behaviors so I can get radically different results, right? So the short sleep was my choosing. I traded something for something else. I chose to stay up and get some work done so that I traded my work for my sleep, right? And I did that consciously, and I can't do that very often. So yesterday afternoon, I did have to take a short nap, and that nap was 1 hour. So now I'm at 4 hours and 59 minutes. Okay. So I got a little bit more, but I had to push it into the afternoon and I had to take a nap because it was starting to catch up with me. Ah, don't do that, Angela. Not a good move. All right. So the next thing, my hydration. I'm doing really, really, really well on my hydration. And one of the things that I noticed since I started this program is because I'm eating less and drinking more, I am staying hydrated. But I also know that I've gone through a lot of herb tea and I love the flavored herb tea. And there's no sugar or anything in it that would spike my blood sugar levels. It's just herb tea. And I'm really enjoying lavender and chamomile and peppermint and some of my favorite flavors, if you will. And so I bought some more herb teas yesterday. So I'm set for the next few weeks. So I'm really happy about that. And it's helping my hydration. All right. The next thing is my intermittent fasting. My intermittent fasting is going really well and surprisingly really well. I'm eating one meal a day and I'm eating for about 1 hour. It's kind of a 1 hour window. And then I stop the 1 hour window and I go back to the fasting again. And it's keeping my body in a state of continual ketosis. And I'm really excited about the progress that I've made because I thought I was going to be super hungry. And my body is not really hungry at all. And I am using the MCT oil, which is the coconut oil, inside my herb tea. I use 1 teaspoon a day, and that kind of curbs my appetite. It's like a natural appetite suppressant. So the intermittent fasting is going really well, and I'm really happy about that. All right, so for the nourishment, I'm eating really healthy. I think I told you guys the other day that I made some homemade Japanese ginger dressing for my salad. And I made it with carrots in it so that it was naturally sweet and it didn't have any artificial sweeteners or sugar in it. And it was so good. So I've been eating salads every day. And so, along with my salads, I told you guys I was going to add some bananas to my schedule because I needed more potassium in my diet. So yesterday I had a banana, I had a spinach smoothie drink, and I had some salad, and it was delicious. And then last night I completely fell off the wagon. Um, my husband had been over at his parents' house and he was saying goodbye to his dad and spent all day with his mom. And when he got home last night, we hadn't gone grocery shopping for the week. So we jumped in the car kind of so that we could talk and it would take me away from the computer and my work and all this stuff. And we could just kind of chat by ourselves. So we drove to the store. It was like 9 o'clock at night and he hadn't eaten anything all day. And it was too late for me to go home and fix dinner. So I said, "Do you want to run through the drive through or something?" And he said, "Yeah." So we went through the drive through at McDonald's and I don't even eat at McDonald's. I don't know what their menu is. When they got there, I didn't know what to order. And I just said some chicken sandwiches and some fries. So we sat in the car parking lot at the McDonald's and we had some chicken sandwiches and some fries. And it was off the diet. I wasn't fasting. It's none of the foods I should have been eating, but it was a chance to hang out with each other away from everything that we know. And this is what we do know about an emotional charged moment that yesterday was. Anything you do on this day will embed itself as a memory that will last you a lifetime. So if you listen to particular music on a day like that, or you smell something particular, or you have a moment that is so incredibly off your schedule, which is like sitting in a dark parking lot of a McDonald's eating a chicken sandwich, when I don't think we've ever done that in the 21 years we've been married. And so that was a very unique situation that brings us back to that one moment in time. So I'm glad that we did it. It was a nice memory, and I'm sad that I broke the diet, but I'm glad that we did it that way. All right, so for my workouts, I had a great workout yesterday morning, and I'm reporting now on yesterday. I had a great workout, and I noticed when I got to the gym because this is one of the things I want to report on is my social activity. When I got to the gym, I had a really hard time getting up because of the short amount of sleep that I had and going to the gym. And when I went to the gym, and I saw my new friends, and it's weird. There's a Kathy and a Kath. We call her Kath because Kath is short for Kathy, but there's already another Kathy. So Kathy and Kath. There's a Debbie and a Deb, and a Susan and a Nancy, and an Erica and a Cheryl. And those are my new friends. So when I got there, everybody was there. I was like, hey, so good to see you guys. And I said, you guys don't know how much I needed you to be here today for me because I could not get out of bed this morning. And I really needed an accountability partner. And they said, you don't know how much we needed you to be here today because we needed an accountability partner. Okay. So here are a bunch of us. We've only known each other for a couple of weeks because I just met them when I just joined the Y. But now within a couple of weeks, I have a new series of accountability partners that are holding me to the fire to show up every day to the gym. And already I've exchanged a couple of, I forgot Jenny. Jenny and I exchanged phone numbers, and Sally's at the front desk. Um, we've already exchanged phone numbers. And she said, if you ever need anything, you ever need somebody to talk to, and she just reached out to me. And I said, that's awesome. Yes, let's swap phone numbers. And likewise. And here's the reason why. Everybody needs somebody. If something were to go down and you didn't have family around, if you have somebody in your phone, that's how we make friends. Call somebody and ask for help. Do you have close friends right now that are inside your phone that if something happened, you could call them and they would come for you? I met Jenny a couple of weeks ago and I have her phone number inside my phone. Call Jenny if something malfunctions. And Jenny's going to call me if something malfunctions. Not only did I make a new friend, but I made a new relationship that will probably stand the test of time. And I don't have to invest anything into it other than what I'm already investing, which is me showing up at the gym every day and being accountable to her and her being accountable to me. And we just make sure that each other shows up and works out for the day. I don't see her outside the gym. We're not, busybodies outside the gym, but showing up every single day and just interacting while we're putting on makeup. That's it, right? You build relationships into the course of your day. So I'm really happy about that. All right, the next progress is my moods. I've been in kind of a rough mood the last couple of days because I didn't get much sleep, right? There's a direct connection. If you feel like crap, look at what you're eating and look at the sleep that you're getting. All right, the progress for my business. Oddly enough, through everything, whether it's the discouragement of family situations or whether it's the lack of sleep or I don't know what, but the business is going gangbusters. Okay. I'm doing very well in the business and the content we're creating, we're flying. It's like once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. And it makes everything that you do from then on stronger, better, more powerful. Okay. So the business is doing really well. We created 2 courses yesterday and almost complete with the second course. So I'm really happy about that because the Lifelong Productions project is taking a lot of my time, but there are a lot of commitments there. And for me to be able to deliver those is fantastic. So I'm really happy about that. All right, the next thing that I want to mention are the challenges that I have. And the challenges are trying to do what I'm doing and schedule it all in. It seems like there will always be a tug of war of time, how much we have to spend and how much is required from us. And the secret is in choosing the highest priority item. I'm reading a book right now and I'm going to recommend it to you. It's called Essentialism. It is a New York Times bestseller by George McEwen. He also has a podcast. It's amazing if you haven't listened to it already. But the whole book is about not doing everything that needs to be done, but doing the right things at the right time. It's prioritizing things and doing only what needs to be done that's the highest value of your time. Excellent book. All right, the next thing that I want to say is follow me if you're not already. lifelongproductions.com/burnout. And this is where I'm documenting my journey on my recovery from burnout. And then I also want to give a shout out to Lifelong Productions, which is a company that helps content creators finish the projects they start. So today, what we're focusing on, and I'm going to share this with you, is creating about pages. We have a coffee club this afternoon where a whole bunch of content creators will come together. We will evaluate each other's about me pages for our websites, and then we will add or subtract or help tweak those until they're 100% perfect. So my assignment for you today, even if you're not part of Coffee Club, is to do this exercise on your own. Write your own eulogy and then tweak it and put it on your About Me page so that people that go to your About Me page can find out who you intended to be. And that will be the roadmap for who you will become. All right, that's it for today. All right, as I leave you, I want to remind you of two things. Number one, you matter. And number two, you are